This might be hard to hear, but some of the people you call friends might be the very reason why you're stuck. Not because they're bad people, because they're comfortable where they are, and your growth threatens that comfort. Welcome back to the Marcus Allgood Show. I appreciate everybody listening and watching, and continue sharing the show. I really appreciate it. If you're getting value out of this, send it to a friend, send it to a buddy, send it to whoever you think could get some value out of it, just like you did. Now, today we're going to talk about why your friends might be the reason you're not growing. And I personally have been through this, and a lot of people have been through this that are on the personal development, self growth path that I've been on for a long time. And usually, if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably on that same growth path, personal development and everything. But to get rid of the friends, like if when I was drinking all the time, my friends were alcoholics, drinkers, things like that. Now that I don't drink, I don't have those friends. Those friends are gone, long gone, and we don't talk, we don't hang out, we don't do anything. Like we don't ask each other what's going on. There's no communication between it because of the fact that I grew into a different person, and for me to get out of that comfort zone of drinking all the time, I had to quit drinking and I had to get rid of all those. I mean, not even get rid of all the friends. I still tried talking to them. They just didn't want to talk to me because I was a different person at that point. You once you get to the change, start changing the way you normally do things is when people are going to start leaving your side and going not wanting to be friends with you at that point. So it's a lot of times is you don't even have to get rid of the friends; they'll get rid of you, and that's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It is definitely a good thing. So the truth about growing relationships is growth changes you, and when you change, relationships are tested, and the habits you outgrow make others uncomfortable. And being the person that I was telling somebody this the other day, the fact that when you start growing, it makes the other people realize what they should be doing, but they don't want to do because they don't want to leave that comfort zone. So therefore, you're not going to be friends with them anymore. The standards you raise expose their lower standards, and the discipline you develop highlights their excuses. It just keeps putting them into the excuse category. And when I'm not a drinker anymore or do drugs or anything like that, those people know that they need to stop, or they wish they could, or they want to but they don't want to. They do but they don't. But you not going down to their level is going to make them not want to hang out with you anymore because you bring out the bad, like I guess the good side of what they could be, but they're not willing to make the change like you did to get there. So growth doesn't end friendships. It reveals which ones were built on comfort instead of values. Most friendships aren't built on purpose. They're built on shared routines, shared struggles, shared habits, and shared avoidance. And when you change the routine, the bond is tested, and most of the time that bond is gonna break. If you got 5 friends that smoke and you're not a smoker, guess what? You're either gonna join them or you're gonna go away from them. But if you got if you're the 6th friend that's already smoking and then you quit smoking, you're not gonna get invited to smoke breaks. You're not gonna get invited to do different things. They're gonna have inside jokes that don't pertain to you anymore, and then you're just gonna slowly drift out of the group, the friend group, and just kind of drift off onto your own island until you find some different friends. And then, which is a good thing because you're the one changing. You're not going back into, you're not sharing their struggles. You're not sharing their routines. You're not sharing their habits. And you're not sharing the avoidance of, they know they need to quit smoking, but they just don't want to. Or they just can't. Or it's just too hard. There's all sorts of excuses that people come up with. And when you finally break the chains and get rid of that addiction or change, like become a better person or anything like that, like once you break those chains, you are now a different person and you're not in the same alignment with them, and they're not going to want to hang out with you. You're just going to be shunned away, which is unfortunate, but you will find some new friends that you can hang out with. And truthfully, you only need like 1 or 2 really good friends. The different type of friends, you got your comfort friends. They want to hang around you as long as you don't change and support you verbally, not behaviorally. They get quiet when you start improving, joke about your goals, miss the old you. They're not evil. They're just familiar. They don't want that person to change. And I'm sure if I went back to some of the people I used to hang out with and be like, man, you've changed. You're not the same person I knew back then. And I'd say, yeah, I'm not. I've definitely changed. That's the whole point of life, is to grow and change and get out of the comfort zones and to become a different person, a more, you know, just a, I want to say, just a different, I want to say grown up person, but a different mentality and more about knowing yourself and who you are, and just more enlightened as the more you get older. If you're not becoming more enlightened, you're just the same person that you were back in your 20s. Most people in their 40s and 50s aren't going to want to hang around that guy anymore. They're not going to want to hang around that girl. And that's usually when they start going down this other path that is very hard to get out of. And then we got the growth friends. They challenge you, they hold you accountable, they celebrate discipline, they respect your boundaries, and they want you to win. And they want to win with you, not just hang with you. They want you to outdo them, and then they can try and outdo you. They try and go back and forth with each other, and they celebrate your discipline. And I hear people all the time like, I wish I had your discipline. You can, but you don't want it, because if you wanted it, you would have the discipline that I have. And one guy at the shop the other day, he told me I needed to quit posting my videos because his wife saw him and I was making him look bad. I said, well, you could do it too. And he said, I don't have time. I go, we all have the same amount of time. And if busy as I am, that means you could do it too. And he was like, he basically looked at me. He goes, yep, you're right. Give me a fist bump, because it's the same thing I tell my employees. If I got time, you got time. And it's the truth. He just doesn't want it bad enough. He doesn't want to be in the physical shape that I'm in. He wants to sit in the comfort zone of the spot that he's in. Comfort friends, comfort friends like the way you are. Growth friends like who you're becoming. And to become a different person, you have to have different friends. You have to have different acquaintances. You can't just sit back in the 90s and hang out with the same friends you had back then. Unless you're all growing, unless you're all growing up, doing like challenging each other, doing things like that. But most likely, most of those friends are just going to be sitting there hanging out, and they don't want, maybe playing some games or smoking some weed still. But you don't want to be 50-year-old hanging out, playing games, smoking weed with those guys again anymore. So why do people resist the growth? This is where people will resist the growth because it forces them to confront their stagnation. It forces them to let them know they're not growing. They're just sitting there. They're actually going backwards. It disrupts group identity. It removes shared excuses. It threatens emotional safety. It's basically just they don't want to take accountability for where they're at, so they just keep doing the same thing that they have always done. Your growth makes other people's uncomfortable because it asks a question they don't want to answer. That question is, if you could change, why haven't I? And that question really hits home to a lot of people. I know I wanted the change, and I still want change. I still want to do different things. I still want to learn more things. I still am on a constant growth battle every day, every year, every month to get to be a better person than I am today and I was yesterday. The guilt that keeps people stuck is people don't stay stuck because they don't want more. They stay stuck because they feel guilty for wanting more. Guilt for outgrowing their friends. Oh, but she doesn't want it, or he doesn't want me to do this, and they just stay for that reason. Or guilty for saying no, guilty for choosing discipline, guilty for changing priorities. Like, you can't feel guilty for wanting change. You can't feel guilty for it, but you need to get over it and make things happen. And just don't worry about the guilt. This is a you change. This is a you issue. This is a you problem. You don't need to worry about what other people are going to think about you. You have to make the changes. And is that person going to miss you? Probably. But guess what? They're not willing to change. Maybe you start changing and they want to come on the journey with you. Most likely not going to happen. But what if that person did want to go on the journey with you? It's going to be a whole lot more fun. But don't feel guilty for changing. Don't feel guilty for having discipline. Don't feel guilty when you go out to a restaurant and everybody's eating pizza and you order a salad with some chicken breast on top. I don't. I used to take a giant salad with me to different functions I would go to with chicken on top. I didn't care. No shame at all. People, I'm sure people looked at me and were like, "Oh my gosh, look at him. Why doesn't he want our food?" It just doesn't fit in my goals. My goals are bigger, and that food doesn't fit in my goals, so I just bring my own. Loyalty to others should never require betrayal of yourself. You can love people deeply and still choose distance. You can respect history without letting it dictate your future. Just remember, you don't have to conform to all the people around you. Be your own person. Be the one who makes the change. Be the one who jumps out of the comfort zone. So, signs that your circle is holding you back. This is what we're all been waiting for. You will feel drained after being around them. There's some people, oh my gosh, I'm like, oh man, I'm so tired after hanging out with that person. It's like draining just listening to them over and over and over. Like, those aren't your people. They discourage change disguised as being realistic. Like, oh, you should just be realistic. You can't do that. They mock discipline or ambition. They pressure you to stay the same. You should just stay the same. Don't worry about it. You're fine the way you are. No, no, you're not. They don't respect your boundaries. They try and get you to drink or do drugs or go out when you don't want to or eat the foods that you don't want to. They try and just get under your skin, saying different things. They only support growth, they understand. So if your environment never challenges you, it's quietly changing you, just not in the direction you want. So make sure you're in the group that is challenging you and changing you in the direction that you want to go. So stop explaining your growth. You don't need permission to evolve. Create distance without drama. Silence is more powerful than the arguments. Upgrade your inputs. Use books, mentors, rooms that stretch you. Find friends that help you out. Find people who normalize growth. When discipline is normal, growth feels easier. And being around those people makes life so much easier and so much more rewarding that you know you're on the right path and you don't have to feel bad for doing what you're doing. Let actions speak. You don't have to announce change, just live it, just make it happen. And so take inventory of your circle. Ask yourself, who challenges me? Who drains me? Who grows with me? Who keeps me comfortable? You don't need to cut people off, but you do need to stop letting comfort decide your future. Not everyone who walks with you is meant to finish the journey with you. You're going to have people come and go in your life. There's not ever, I mean, there might be one person there as your ride or die forever, but it's very, very, very hard to make it through life with that one ride or die. You're going to have to make new friends, get rid of some friends, make new friends. And a lot of times it's just the season of life that you're in where those people are brought closer to you to get you to change and to grow. And then you outgrow them. So then, therefore, you keep growing and you got to find the people that have grown past them that you can go join and grow towards what they're growing to. And then the cycle just keeps going on. So don't feel bad getting rid of some people or changing your circles. It's okay. And that's the pod. I appreciate everybody listening. Share it if you got any value. Thank you.